There we go.
I was
Well done.
Was closer.
Hey, Eric.
Hey, John.
How you doing tonight?
I am great. I'm doing great, actually. I am getting old. I did something at some point in the day and tweaked my back, and now if I sit in just the wrong position, an ouch. But it didn't happen till after I exercised rode my bike today, so it felt good up until then. So I did something probably exertion wise.
So you can't blame sitting in the fast food restaurant chair.
It wasn't the fast food restaurant chair.
Okay. Well, that's good. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm not glad, not good, but sorry, dude.
I know what you mean.
It happens to all of us.
Yeah.
Getting old, that is.
Yeah.
So.
Well, this past weekend, I ended up going. My wife and I went out with some friends, and went to dinner. Had a very pleasant evening, pretending to be social people.
Wow. Well done.
Yeah, we were out quite late, talked about all sorts of fun, just random things that I feel like normal people probably go out and talk about. One of the conversations veered towards favorite TV shows and favorite books. This friend of mine is also a Brandon Sanderson fan. And so we trade, like you and I do, he and I trade book recommendations. Okay. And so, we chatted about different types of books, and then also chatted about different TV shows to watch, couple shows to watch, which I won't even tell you.
Don't even bother.
But one is my something fun, because it was actually kind of humorous.
Okay.
There'll be my something fun. And then Saturday, I think a few weeks ago, I mentioned that I tried to take styrofoam somewhere and the place had closed down, so I just threw it in a trash can. Well, I ended up this past week with another large amount of styrofoam, and I was like, do I really want to take it to a trash can? So I found a place in North Portland that takes styrofoam to do recycling. I didn't really look at anything. I saw their website. They said they were open for drop-off from like 11 to 3 on Saturday. I mean, it's out by Sauvie Island, so like on the northwest, kind of that industrial area of Portland. Okay. So I thought, hey, it'd be a fun Saturday drive for me. My wife was at an all-day retreat, so it was just me. So I drive out there, and I go start unloading the styrofoam. I mean, it's not a ton. And then the guy gives me a ticket and says, that'll be $20, go pay in the front office. Like, $20. I mean,
they're like, you can come drop your styrofoam off here. We'll take care of it for you.
Yes.
Are you going to recycle it? That's a possibility.
Well, it was a recycling place. So they took old electronics. They took a bunch of other stuff too, and they do styrofoam. And I was like, all right, I'll pay the $20 instead of just throwing it. I mean, it's probably better. But in talking to the guy, he was telling me that, yes, they've closed down, but Metro, he expects by middle of next year will open. I guess Metro shut down the styrofoam recycling, because I was unaware that the Metro whatever area, the Metro government body for the greater Portland area, pays these recyclers for styrofoam. Oh. And the other place didn't get their contract renewed. I don't know the deal, but that's why they closed down. Not because they just decided to stop recycling, because they were probably not getting money anymore from Metro for what they were collecting, so it was no longer worth it for them to collect styrofoam. So this guy was telling me, we expect sometime mid next year that you'll be able to do this for free. Because I made a comment, hey, I used to just drop it off here for free. I mean,
over at the other place.
And he kind of gave me a little bit of the background and how he expects the budget year, I guess, to kick off. And so he's like, maybe, June, if you save your styrofoam until June, you can bring it in for free.
Just leave it in your garage for half a year.
Yeah.
Or hand over $20.
Hand over $20 and recycle.
But if you were to try and throw it out on the street, it'd cost you 10 for a bag or whatever, or something. Who knows what?
I found out that the garbage service will not just pick up styrofoam blocks. You have to break it up and put it in your trash can. So I would have had to break it all up and put it in a bunch of different trash cans and trash bags, and then have them do it. Which, okay, this has gone longer than it should have already. But I will end with my final excitement today, and this is
excitement in air quotes. Okay,
failure to communicate properly. I labeled this, the how to make a peanut butter sandwich. You've seen those videos where, you try to describe in words how to make a peanut butter sandwich, and then you put the knife in upside down in the peanut butter. You put, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Today, I felt like that in a yard maintenance activity. So we have some folks that come over and mow the lawn and just kind of take care of the weeds, and every once a month. And my wife's like, I want this part of the bed cleaned up. I don't like this grassy stuff in the front yard anymore up front, because I want to put flowers in this area. And so it was a big kind of area along the sidewalk and then going back towards the house. And so I went out, and this is my fault. I do speak Spanish, but I get a little self-conscious with the yard mates, because he had to call over another guy because he spoke no English. I should have tried speaking Spanish with him, but I get a little self-conscious because I don't know the yard maintenance lingo. So he calls the other guy over. And so I sit there and I say, all right, we want to get rid of this part, but we like the stuff that's back to the house. And so I was using my hands to show, here's what I want gone, and here's what I want to keep.
Okay.
What
did the stuff you wanted to keep get gone, and the stuff you wanted to go get kept?
You jumped to the TLDR. That's
sorry.
Exactly what happened.
I'm so sorry.
So the stuff we wanted to keep is now empty dirt.
I'm so sorry.
And the stuff along the edge of this walkway into the house
so predictable.
Is still the furry, grassy
undesirable
thing. Plants. So I think
I'm so sorry.
The result of this is I'm just gonna have to go rip it all out. So
now you get all new plants.
Now I get all new plants for that area, which actually my wife probably would prefer anyways. I liked this kind of grass that was there, that kind of filled in the space. And if you have plants that are there intentionally that are pretty dense, then you don't get weeds. Yeah. I don't like weeds.
Yeah.
So anyways.
I'll make a suggestion for you. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I don't remember that exact spot, but creeping thyme is really kind of cool.
Creeping thyme. Okay.
Yeah. And the bees really like it.
Ah.
So I don't know. It's very small, green, purple flowers, small purple flowers, kind of like a ground cover.
Yep.
So if you're thinking something big, that's not what you would do, but you might have something. Anyway.
No.
I like our creeping thyme.
Okay.
It's kind of cool.
I'll keep that in mind. Anyways, I've gone way too long.
All right. Was your weekend? Well, I had 2-ish things that I was going to tell you. So the first was, I don't think I've said anything here, but the shower in our bathroom has been starting to drip from like a few weeks ago. It was, I get it because I'm always the first person awake in the morning, and I hop in the shower and I'm like, ooh, it's not dry. It's been dripping overnight.
Right.
And then it's, I'm occasionally hearing a drip. And then it's like, oh, wow. I really, really, really need to get on this. And my weekends have been very busy lately, but whatever. So this Saturday, one of my things was, hey, I need to get on this. So speaking of your TV things, I watched a number of YouTube videos about what to do about this Delta shower faucet. And took some pictures of it, went onto the Delta website, tried to find out what the brand model was, because according to YouTube, and YouTube's always right, it's I forget what it's called though, a canister. So there's a cylinder on the inside there that is the part that needs to be replaced. So I had found the part, or the manual online. I'd watched the videos, and then I started taking it apart on Saturday morning. And then I was like, before I had it all disassembled, but I hadn't actually taken it out yet. Because you have to turn the water off for the house, right? There's no and if I make a mistake here, the water's off until
the mistake is unmade. Yes.
So I was like, okay, so before I take this out, I should really call the plumbing place and make sure they've got a replacement part. And I had the part number, so I called him up, and he's like, no, we don't have that, but we do have one at our East Portland branch.
Okay.
And I'm like, all right. Well, it's an hour or more away, but whatever. Like, if they have it, I'll do that. Then he's like, but that's a $450 part. You should probably talk to Delta and see if they'll just replace it under warranty. And I was like, okay, for $450, I will send an email. Mm-hmm. Like, I am willing to do this. So, whatever, I hang up, I go and I look, I had the whole web pages pulled up for the thing, and it says limited lifetime warranty for parts and
yep,
something or other. But only for residential customers, which I consider myself a residential customer.
Mm-hmm.
Although it did say original owner, and I'm pretty sure they remodeled this like a couple years before we bought the house, but whatever.
Okay.
They were open on Saturday. I called them up, 20-minute phone call, and they're like, part is in the mail. Like, no hassle at all. I was nice. Like, well, that is freaking awesome. Save me, hypothetically $450. Although my shower is still dripping, and according to UPS, it will get here next Monday. So whatever. So that's kind of like,
okay.
I went back up, reassembled the shower, turned on the water, and then let it continue to drip. So anyway, so that's kind of like, that was my one thing. And then I was like, okay, second job. I need to go get some horse panels for the fence that, because we're continuing to work on this chicken project.
What's a horse panel?
It is basically a heavy wire panel, 5 foot tall, 16 feet long, with the wires 2 inches apart vertically and 4 inches apart horizontally. Okay. So they're basically make 2x4. Think 2x4 fencing, but super heavy duty because they'll like stand up on their own.
Right. Okay.
So it's kind of halfway in between like roll up fence and like a round pen panel or something like that. So it's not as heavy as a round pen panel, but it's heavy wires. You can, it's heavy.
So you're not throwing this in the back of your car. You're taking
no. I'm putting it on the back of a trailer. Yeah, so but I haven't used my that's the start of the story. I haven't used my flatbed trailer for a while. So I back the truck up, and since I was doing this, our camper was missing a taillight. I couldn't remember which one. So since I had the truck over there nearby, I just backed up near that and plugged in the wire at least so that I could test the rear turn signals and it's the driver's side that's out. Okay, cool. So, and then I pull out and I plug into the flatbed and I test that. Oh, look at that. The driver's side of that one's out too. Amazon LED 1172 wire. So, okay. Right. So they wound up coming Monday. And so now all 4 of those work. But anyway, hook up the flatbed trailer, start pulling it out. And I'm like, that front left tire is super flat. I'm like, okay, fine. So I back over close to my shop, pull out the air hose, fill up the tire. And I'm like, I'm still hearing the air hissing even after I'm no longer doing it. So and then I look at the tire, right? So I do all this stuff and then I look at the tire and I'm like, oh, there's no way that's holding air. So anyway, needless to say, jack up the trailer, take off the tire, unhitch the truck, throw the tire in the back of the truck, drive down to the tire center, and for some reason, even though this was Saturday afternoon, lunchtime-ish, they were like totally dead, like busy, like they were not busy at all. So I pull up, Like hand off the tire. He's like, oh, we can get it to you in, it'll be a half an hour. Like, cool. I literally went over to the Wendy's in the parking lot and had lunch. And then halfway through eating, they text me and say, your tire is done. And I'm like, cool. So I hop back in the truck, go back over there, and the tire's exactly where I left it. I walk over to the tire and I'm like, it still has the holes in it. I'm like, I don't think. And so I catch the guy in the red shirt and I'm like, I got this text. I hand it my phone and it says that's done, but he's like, that's not done. I'm like,
we agree.
You're right. So anyway, whatever. And net, hop in the truck, get back, put the tire back on the trailer, hook the trailer back up, go down to the horse coastal horse supplies place or farm supplies place, and I'm like, hey, I want 2 of these panels. And we have bought these panels before. I didn't even think to call to see if they had them in stock. They're like, oh, sorry, we don't have any. I'm like, oh, whoops. Okay. So I go out and then I start calling around. I call Wilco in Cornelius. I call Wilco in McMinnville. I call Wilco in Newburgh. And then I call Coastal in over by 205. I don't know, East Portland. Lake Oswego. I'm like, they're like, it's literally an hour away. Oh yeah, we have
Oregon City or
14 of them. Yeah, Oregon City is right. We have 14 of them. I'm like, all right, I'll be there in an hour. So anyway, net. I felt like Saturday was a lot of effort to make little minute amounts of progress. Because at the end of the day, I don't have a fixed shower, but I might have some parts on the way. I mean, I hypothetically have parts on the way. And I could work. And Sunday we put the fence up and did all that stuff. But like, I literally went and I went to the store and I got a couple things. Was my all day Saturday. I felt anyway
unproductive.
That was my little snipe hunt. That was just anyway. But we got what we wanted to get done Sunday, and that was good. So
cool.
Anyway,
well,
all right. How about a topic?
Yeah.
Get out of the
a longer intro than typical. But
I'll see what I can cut out.
See what you can cut. You can cut lots of mine. So the thing that I saw this week was a group of Chinese researchers broke RSA encryption with a quantum computer. So I think people have been talking about this for a while, that encryption, the typical encryption, the encryption used pretty much everywhere online today and in various things, are not particularly safe against quantum computers and quantum computing. And so I think this is just either the tip of the iceberg or another nail in the coffin of traditional encryption. So a couple notes in this. This was from CSO Online, the articles where I saw it. Chinese researchers unveiled a method using D-Wave's quantum annealing system to crack classic encryption, potentially accelerating the timeline for when quantum computers could pose a real threat to widely used cryptographic systems. So it's published in the Chinese Journal of Computers under the title Quantum Annealing Public Key Cryptographic Attack Algorithm Based on D-Wave Advantage. So there's a whole bunch of additional stuff in this article that you can go read if this is a topic that is of interest to you. But being as it's a security topic, and I think cybersecurity folks have been talking about it for a while, here we go. The train has left the building. So
NIST has already had, and Chrome has integrated, right?
Quantum safe encryption. So I do know that there is a lot of movement towards quantum safe or quantum resistant algorithms. So
yeah, it looks like, wow, the article that popped up here was only from August 24, so not very long ago, that said that the unveiling the 3 new post-quantum encryption algorithms.
Yeah. So there you go. The commencement of quantum computing
The quantum era.
and disruption has begun. Although if this is anything like any other upgrade your software or else requirements, like the S in IoT stands for security, types of things, there'll be plenty of time for quantum computers to do plenty of damage, I think.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
anyways, there you go. That's what I had for this week. Short and sweet.
Short and sweet. Okay. That's good. Job security is what that is. Job security.
Uh-huh.
Job security. Okay. Okay. Well, I had 2 articles for today. So the first was kind of the intersection of developers, and security. So this is the Lazarus Group, North Korea, having fake job tests, job interviews, a lot of times, and we do this. You have a job applicant actually do a coding test.
Yep.
So this is a Tom's Hardware summary of a report from Reversing Labs, but this is the Lazarus Group getting job applicants to perform a coding test, and in so doing, infect them with malware. So, Python based, basically. By the way, so it says per a report from Reversing Labs, this has been happening to Python developers courtesy of North Korean hackers for about a year and is likely to continue. There are attacks involving coding tests that only exist to get the end user to install hidden malware on their system that allows remote execution once present. So the attacks have been running since at least August of 23, and we might have mentioned something about a number of popular open source Python tools maliciously duplicated with malware. I mean, we've talked about that in general for a number of times, but
yep.
The net on this article is that it's not enough just not to click on links, and that's certainly the basics and opening attachments, etc. But it says major governments around the world, nearly all, have state-sponsored hackers in their employ. As long as those hackers are able to collect money or information for their government, they will do so by taking advantage of any possible cybersecurity gap, including, unfortunately, false job opportunities. So, anyway, thought that was a novel targeting of I don't know that it's RCGs or anything like that, or recent computer graduates, but or recent college graduates, but developers are likely to have root on their system.
Yeah.
And and if you're a new developer, you might not realize what you're doing.
And probably more likely to have cryptocurrency or other
It's certainly possible.
digital assets.
That Venn diagram is more likely to overlap than your general person, probably. So
yep.
Cool. So that's my that's Lazarus's primary goal in many other campaigns. My second article was, I don't know, this is kind of like I don't know. We've talked about large denial of service attacks over the years, and this was an article from Cloudflare. Yeah, I was going to say, I think I got both of my articles this week from Bruce Schneier's Cryptogram article or newsletter. Just kind of came timely. But so this was 3.8 terabits per second. At largest
Wow.
disclosed publicly disclosed attack. So it says, since September, Cloudflare's DDoS protection systems have been combating a month-long campaign of hyper-volumetric L3 and 4 DDoS attacks. Cloudflare's defense has mitigated over 100 hyper-volumetric L3-4 DDoS attacks throughout the month, with many exceeding 2 billion packets per second and 3 terabits per second. The largest attack peaked at 3.8 terabits per second, the largest ever publicly disclosed by any organization.
Wow.
Detection and mitigation was fully autonomous. It's just super impressive. That is just amazing.
Yeah, wow.
2 billion packets
Per second.
Billion is a lot.
Yeah.
That's a very big number.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. That's just amazing. So the article goes into, some detail. They do not say who it was against.
Right.
They just said that they have observed this attack campaign targeting multiple customers in the financial services, internet, and telecommunication industries, among others. This attack campaign targets bandwidth saturation as well as resource exhaustion of inline applications and devices. So I don't think that's unusual. That's kind of the definition of a DDoS attack, right?
Yeah.
Predominantly UDP, originating from across the globe, with larger shares coming from Vietnam, Russia, Brazil, Spain, and the US. And that appear to originate from multiple types of compromised devices, including a lot of, what did you say the S was for IoT?
Security.
Yeah, S is for security. So including Mitratech devices, DVRs, and web servers. The high bitrate attacks appear to originate from a large number of compromised ASUS home routers.
Oof.
So, there's that's kind of all is sort of the lead up and the strat or the sort of context. They talk more in the article about, at least in generalities, of what they're doing in terms of automatically detecting, qualifying, and then automatically creating rules to block packets. And they've got a bunch of kind of proprietary software in their network that they use. They call things like the L4 drop, unless that's I4 drop. I don't know. Sorry,
I'm guessing L4 drop for the.
Oh, probably layer 4. Duh.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Not very creatively named, but probably.
I think that is your cold dead raw fish. Sorry. Thank you. Anyway, and so they're doing their own custom code to enable dropping forward or modification of the packets directly in the NIC, so they're not consuming CPU resources on the machine. So, it's just clever, but also just kind of just amazing to think about blocking an attack. And let's see, they had some graphs in here. So like the graph that they had at the top, guess it's hard to tell. I'm trying to zoom in on this image to see if I can tell. So it looks like it went from 5905 to 1. Basically like 55 seconds is what it looks like to me. 55 seconds of 2.14 billion packets per second.
Wow.
It's just
astronomical.
Just mind-boggling. So thank you, Cloudflare. Anyway, I thought that was cool. There you go. It's very, very relevant.
Super cool.
Okay, how about something fun?
All right, so I talked at the beginning, went out with some friends, and we spent a chunk of the evening over dinner talking about shows we like to watch, because he and his wife, like me and my wife, the Venn diagram of shows that we both like is two circles touching. So not a whole lot of shows that overlap. So one of the shows that was mentioned was Korean shows. Like I think that is one of the cool things with a lot of these streaming services is you get access to shows that you would never have seen on even cable network television unless you bought the extra package. So there is a show on Netflix that is a Korean drama, romantic comedy. It's called...
So is it dubbed or subbed?
It is subtitled in English. Okay. So you have to read. Okay. But one of the shows that he and his wife had mentioned was that they kind of enjoyed together was this show called King the Land. And it's a romantic comedy. And I like comedies. Romantic ones are fine occasionally. Not my big cup of tea, but it's fine. And so we watched, a couple episodes of this. My wife and I watched the first couple episodes, and I told her I'd be happy to watch more if she wants me to. And she watched the third episode on her own to give you where that went. But it was kind of cute. And I just thought it was fun. I think my something fun is being able to see and have access to cultures and shows in, cultures that you wouldn't normally get access to. So if you are interested in Korean romantic comedies, or K-drama is what my daughter called it.
Okay.
She also watches C-dramas, which are Chinese dramas, apparently. And all these are somewhat readily available on various streaming services. I will say it was kind of cute. There was the the comedy sidekick who was, kind of funny. It was a little awkward having to try to read the text and then watch, the show at the same time.
Right.
But I just
in a lot of anime.
That was kind of fun, was watching this straight up comedy television show. There's 16 episodes. I'm sure I'll watch another one at some point.
King the Land.
Yeah, so it's the King.
You don't normally see king as a verb.
No, it's the King Hotel Group. They own a bunch of luxury hotels, and so it's based in a hotel. And so King, I don't know why it's called King the Land. I'm sure
maybe you'll figure it out by episode 14.
Maybe. So anyways, there's my something fun.
Okay.
It's more explore your local streaming service for foreign shows. Maybe that'll be a fun one.
Okay. Yeah. That's cool.
All right.
That's cool. I'm can they teach me how to change a Delta faucet in my shower?
On Netflix.
No. Anyway, no. So my something fun is I think I did something like this last year too, but Nobel Prize in Physics was awarded to John Hopfield and Geoffrey Hinton, who are pioneers of machine learning from the 80s.
Okay.
And I actually, right before we sat down to do this, I went and looked at my thesis, and although I quoted one paper that I saw from 83, which is when these papers were released in 82 and 83, it wasn't one of these. Anyway, so this is cool. So John Hopfield was a theoretical biologist with a background in physics.
Okay. And
he came up with a network that came to be called the Hopfield network that described connections between virtual neurons as physical forces. And then it says, by storing patterns as a low energy state of the network, the system was able to recreate these patterns when prompted with something similar. It became known as associative memory because the way in which it, quote, recalls things is similar to the brain trying to remember a word or concept on the basis of information. And then Geoffrey Hinton, built on top of that, it says Jeff Hinton, a computer scientist, used principles from statistical physics, which collectively describe systems that have too many parts to track individually, to further develop the Hopfield network. By building probabilities into a layered version of the network, he created a tool that could recognize and classify images or generate new examples of the type that it was trained on. So we have come a long way since 1982 in the last 42 years. But I thought that was awesome. That was awesome.
Yeah.
So
I do like so I was skimming through the article as you were chatting. I do like the Hinton has become one of the loudest voices calling for safeguards to be placed around AI.
Yes.
He says he became convinced last year that digital computation had become better than the human brain thanks to its ability to share learning from multiple copies of algorithms running in parallel. Quote, "It made me think that these systems are going to be more intelligent than us sooner than I thought." He spoke at a AI for Good summit in Switzerland. Anyways, interesting stuff from the pioneers who are getting the Nobel Prizes.
And notice that it's Nobel Prize in physics, because they were both leveraging statistical work for, and this is also used for analyzing. I mean, analyzing physics data as well. Anyway, there's other stuff in the article about leveraging it for biology, and obviously, like today, you can't trip without falling over
an AI model,
LLM generated, or like image generation, and it's what I was thinking about these days. I mean, which I have to say, it's really nice to be able to say, you know what this needs? This needs an image. Let me go like create an image that does this. It does need more cowbell. You could always use more cowbell. All right, my friend. That's good. That's good.
Have a good night, John.
I'll talk to you later, Eric.
I'll see you.
Bye.
Bye.